Hey guys, this is your second installment of LangNews. So, first article we have here is the Lakota language status in the Dakotas. So, the language only had about 1,500 speakers at one point, fluent speakers. However, that number is starting to jump up now because the youngest generation is starting to take their own destiny from the language, and they are learning it. There have been over 100 different apps coded to date, including dictionaries, games, and various learning apps. There have been some discrepancies in some of the words in some of these apps that people have mentioned, but the language is starting to make a comeback now. The University of North Dakota has a program for people to learn the language, and that is a 3 week camp of the language that people can learn from. Second one, there are a record number of students learning Aborigine languages in the Australian state of Victoria. In 2011, there were only 23 students learning Aborigine languages at schools in Victoria, and as of this year, there have been almost 1,900 students. So, bravo to them. That's awesome. So, the teachers that are involved with this say that that learning the Aborigine language in schools helps to break down stereotypes and provides an understanding of Australian Aborigine history. And there are currently many different schools providing these languages, and there's only two high schools, unfortunately, that teach it right now. Hopefully that will increase in the future. And out of one of those high schools, 20% of the population is of Aborigine descent, and they said that they are learning the Duhur Dahroa language, which is indigenous to Victoria, Australia. They have to get permission from these Aborigine communities before they can teach the language, and they have been successful in doing so. But they must get permission from every different community for whose language they teach. The third one is the Sadiq language, which is it's native to Taiwan, I believe the southwestern area, if I'm not mistaken. There are three dialects of it. There are the Truku, the Toda, and the Tukdaya. They are native to the Wuxi Mountains in Taiwan. They are creating a new movie called Warriors of the Rainbow, which tells, I believe, of this. I believe it tells of a historical event that happened in the Sadiq tribe. But the language is no longer being passed on to children. However, this is currently the trend is being reversed. There are lots of attempts to reverse it, and lots of different resources have been made. There are several universities, including the University of Hawaii. They have also tried to do some documentation work, and other people are attempting to help the cause. So there is a Indigenous film in Australia being made called let's see, I don't know exactly what the film's called, but it features a hero named Pemulawui, and he is BG Gall, one of the indigenous Australian tribes. It will be filmed in Australian Aborigine language, and the story tells of a man who first encountered European settlers, and he fought to defend his land, and he was killed, I believe, in 1802 for attempting to do so. The English, I think the English king or somebody in English royalty even made a comment about it, saying that he was brave, but crazy for trying or something like that. But yes, this language film, this Indigenous warrior film, will be featured throughout Australia. They hope to start filming next year. Next, Delta, the airline, the American airline, they are assigning sign language badges to employees who speak, who sign sign language. These will be easily readable, so recognizable to anybody who speaks sign language, so they can identify what flight attendant speaks it, so they can sign the sign language to them. So they are the first airline to do this. So hopefully this follows suit with many other airlines. The next one, so the Odawa Tribe. I'm not sure exactly where this is. I believe it's either somewhere in North America, either Canada or the United States in the Great Lakes area. The Odawa Tribe, they received a $275,000 grant. Currently, they have been working on a online language class, which has already featured at a couple of different high schools in the local area to which they're in. I believe it's in Michigan, if I'm not mistaken. But they hope to expand. They hope to expand this program with this grant. They want to get into more high school classrooms so that people can learn the language, both native and non-native speakers, or non-native Odawa tribe members. They hope to have this course finished by September of 2020. Over in New Brunswick and in Canada, there is an issue of francophone nurses. They filed a complaint over the nursing exam. The nursing exam is currently an American copy. It's based on an American exam, which is only available in English. Canada law states that anything available shall be in English and in French. So there is a great shortage of nurses in New Brunswick, so it is a big problem. However, they have sued for this, and the Association of Nurses in New Brunswick says that they have been trying to get translations finished. They have been trying to get French materials, French study materials, and the course translated into French, so that francophone nurses are not at a disadvantage in this situation. So that is a currently developing story. So the Swedish government currently is discussing whether Swedish language skills should be required for Swedish citizenship. However, there are some sides of this. There are some proponents to this who believe that that the Swedish language should be a requirement even for people who are permanent residents. This has kind of blown up into a big argument because there are lots of permanent residents, or even just residents in general, who stay in Sweden who don't believe they need the Swedish language because they don't use it. They can get by in English. They work in English, so that there's not really as big of a need to know the Swedish language. And the last one that we have today is a development, an update from Ukraine. So Ukraine, a few weeks ago, passed a law where it's a citizenship law that requires all citizens to know Ukrainian as part of their Ukrainian citizenship. All areas of Ukrainian life, except private life and religious institutions, are required to speak Ukrainian. And if you have an article in Ukrainian, you're required to publish, or in a minority language of Ukraine, you are required to publish the exact same article with a Ukrainian translation within 24 hours. The Ukrainian government has decided that they are going to launch a Russian language channel, which will be broadcasted throughout the entire Russophone world. They are hoping to counter Russian language propaganda, which they say is propaganda to the Ukrainian citizens living in the eastern portion of the country, and they also blame that for the Crimean incident. The government also says that this Russian language channel, the Ukrainian government-controlled Russian language channel, should be state-owned, meaning owned by the Ukrainian government and ran by the Ukrainian government. This has not been launched yet. It's just an idea, but this is something that they are considering to do. So I hope you guys enjoyed these news pieces. If you guys have any news pieces you like, or if you want me to research a specific topic within the language realm, which can be anything in the language realm, drop a comment, leave a message on LangShack.org through the message form, or any other method, and I will be more than happy to look into it and present it at the next episode of Lang News. Thank you guys for watching and for your support.